Oh,
Look,
I see it. Riots break out.
it looks like it's not. Is it working?
I mean, it's up.
Yeah, it's up, but it's not.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wait.
it says you're live.
Okay, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us. I have David Wood with me to talk about fallen Britain. Sorry, it's not very encouraging or joyful news, but things pretty much messed up. And how are you doing, David, besides drinking jihad tears?
I'm good. It's always a good day when you get to sit back with a nice, cool glass of jihadi cheers.
Yeah, I actually I saw something on YouTube. I haven't watched it, but it looks like you broke heart of Muslims again.
Did I? What'd I do?
Apparently, you talked about how Mohammed had sex with his dead auntie or something. Did you talk
Oh,
about this in there?
yeah, I talked about that recently. It's a situation where I've said, I've said recently, there are all these situations because in that hadith, it says basically like he lay with her, slept with her, went down and like slept with her, which is like it's like in English, it's ambiguous as to okay, did you go down there and lay there, or did you go down there and do something more with her? And it's this weird situation where normally we give the benefit of the doubt. Same thing, like it says, you got all these hadiths that say that Muhammad was in the garments of his wives, and he would use this as a reason to give special privileges to Aisha. He'd say, hey, I only receive revelations when I'm in her garments and not in the rest of your garments. And you say, hey, what's going on there? Is he actually in their garments? And they'll say, no, there it means house. Like, wait, thou means house there? Mert. I mean, the word mert. You also have the passages that say mert. That means dress. So dress there means house. Like, what's going on? Anyway, point is, with all these Dawa guys just flat out lying and making stuff up, all these Dawa guys, like if you say, hey, what's up with your prophet having sex with a 9-year-old girl? They say, but Rebecca was 3, which is completely false and stupid and insane. And then they'll say, and the Catholic Encyclopedia says that Mary was 12. It doesn't. The Catholic Encyclopedia says we have no idea how old she was. So they'll just lie. They'll just lie in order to rescue Muhammad. Now, in response, I cannot encourage lying in response. Their religion teaches that, ours does not. But I can say, well, we're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt anymore. We're not going to say, oh, here's the best interpretation of this, and therefore we're going with the best interpretation. No, we can go with the worst interpretation. So if we say, hey, there's this hadith about Muhammad laying with a woman in the grave, fine, we're giving it the worst interpretation. He's a necrophile. He was having sex with a dead woman. If we read about Muhammad having semen all over his clothes, the best interpretation is that he just used his garments that he wore to the mosque as a semen rag, which is gross enough by itself, but that's the best interpretation. The worst interpretation would be, DL Kalbi or an animal or something like this. So what I'm saying, what I'm advocating is in all these various instances where they say, no, give us the benefit of the doubt and assume that garment here means house or blanket or something else, give us the benefit of the doubt. Now I'm saying, no, we're going with the worst interpretations of the evidence until you guys learn to stop lying. So that's what I was advocating. But that's what I said that like a couple days ago, but I guess someone saw it or
Yeah, Farid respond who doesn't have anything to respond. Like I saw the thumbnail with your queers video thumbnail, not thumbnail, with one of your pictures from the queers video titled as "It is not photoshopped."
Then he fell for it. He fell for it. Sometimes they ignore it, and I was like, oh, they're getting smart. It was like that with Islamicize Me. I thought they were going to lose their minds over Islamicize Me. Someone spread the word, guys, don't react to this. Don't make it. It's just going to draw more attention to it. And I was like, oh, they're smartening up, but not for Reed.
I used to do movie nights in mosques with Muslims, sometimes in the coffee shops with Muslims from your Islamism videos. They were very funny.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Hey, on the side note, I got lots of messages from Shia Muslims back then, because most of what we're making fun of is like straight out of Sunni sources. So Shias were like, oh, yeah, it's great to see you guys slamming these Sunnis. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, keep showing it then. Thanks, buddies.
They used to send me some sources to make a case. In my early days at Speakers Corner, instead of like, so now at Speaker's Corner, if you say, is it okay to have sex? Is it okay for a man in his 50s to have a sex with girl who is not bleeding? Is that okay? They know you are talking about Mohammed, and then they start defending Mohammed without you to have your argument.
Mhm.
But 10 years ago, you had to say like, oh, this hadith says Muhammad had sex with a child. What do you think about this? Is this correct? Like, you had to spend hours to make your case. In those days, not in those days, but like a couple of years after that, Shia Muslims used to send me sources to say like, oh, use this hadith, use this hadith.
Mhm.
That
Yeah, that's funny.
it's
And
good
then there were all these websites, Sunni and Shia, where they're attacking each other for not believing in the perfect preservation of the Quran. In other words, there's Sunni sites and they're saying, look at all the Shia sources about changes in the Quran. And then there's a Shia site, look at all the Sunni sources about changes in the Quran. They're like, wait a minute. You guys are attacking each other for both of your sources talking about all these changes in the Quran. So what do your sources actually agree on? That the that the Quran changed a bunch of times. So it's just weird. I don't know. It's weird stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, while they are fighting among themselves as well as they are trying to fight against everyone else, England is kind of fallen. So on 4th of July, we had election, and we've got this great new communist government. Like, it's
cool.
So cool. It's so cool.
Well, so it worked everywhere else. So
I know. Probably when they noticed everywhere else is failed, they just said, no, that was probably humans. It wasn't the regime, and now they decided to practice that in England.
Think about the parallel though, right? Because communism just fails everywhere it goes. It turns everything into a complete dystopia. And then they say, oh, but it wasn't real communism there. But it's the same with Islam, right? It's why does Islam make countries that are the last places on the planet anyone would want to live? And then and you guys are trying to spread it to other nations when it doesn't work in these nations, and it's well, they didn't enforce Sharia properly in those countries. If we were to enforce Sharia properly, like we plan to do here for the first time since the so-called golden age, well, we'll get it right here. And it's like, well, why don't you get it right anywhere else and then come tell us about it before you just say, oh, well, it hasn't worked anywhere else, but we'll get it right this time. But it's the same in both those cases.
Well, so it came to England. It's gonna make people suffer and then fail afterwards. But kind of biblically, we get to see God hand over people to their desire. So I'll quickly summarize what happened for last month and then where we are at. And then if that's okay with you, we just go quick over some of the reactions. I am very much aware, kind of like everyone with glass or without glasses, they know what is happening, what they've seen last couple of days. So we've got new government from 4th of July. On 11th of July, just a week after we've got the new government decided they are going to release approximately 5,000 prisoners in early September because they served approximately 40% of their sentence.
Nice.
Yeah. And couple of days after that, Met expressed that they haven't solved any crime regarding burglar, thieves, or phone thief, anything in last 3 years because they've been so busy with these online crimes. On 17th of July, a Jordanian Muslim refugee assaulted female police officer, and on the 17th of July, it was expressed he cannot sentence or he cannot do community service because he doesn't speak English. 18th July, two asylum seekers, Muslims, stole approximately 25,000 worth watch, and they were not jailed, they were simply let go. 18th of July, there was kind of riot in mid England where government social service wanted to take 4 Roman children from their house and then put the kids in the social care. And then same day, so in the north, Muslims are kind of rioting alongside of Roma community. In London, Bangladeshi communities rioting because what is happening in Bangladesh. And lots of police officers were running away from what was happening. And then a week after that, we heard Amjad Chowdhury got arrested and sentenced for a long time. Probably he will be out, but he was in jail.
Lots of prison dawa.
Lots of prison. Yeah, it's like people go to prison normal, just like drug addicts, and then they come out as jihadis. And there was another man got stopped by a Nigerian immigrant, and then at approximate end of July at airport, I am sure you noticed that was all over the news because apparently Muslim hit this guy. It was short clip which was on the news. At the airport, Muslims police is hitting the Muslim who is already on the floor. That kind of circulated. There was an investigation on the police officer, and then a couple of days later, it turned up that actually before that, those individuals broke the noise of police officer, as well as they physically harmed the police officers, and those people are still out today. And then what else happened?
And I saw it was interesting. So you saw in the video clip that was released to get everyone enraged, it was you saw him.
Yeah.
It starts right before he kicks the guy in the head on the ground. Yeah. And then when you saw the other footage, he punched. So it was two Muslims. They're attacking multiple police officers, but the one who was on the ground punched two female police officers in the face. So he hit women in the face repeatedly. And he was hitting them exactly like you would hit them if you were just completely
boxing or
trying to knock them out and stuff. And this is, I guess they're just used to doing that to women there. But it's right after that. I mean, bang, bang, woman hits the ground, and then guy hits the ground, and then cop kicks him, right? He's making sure he's not struggling. So it's a totally different perspective. You just punch multiple women in the face here. I'm not playing around with you or allowing you to get up. I'm making sure you stay on that ground. So he kicks him. That's right where so everyone who's recording, then when they post it on social media, they start it right there. Look at this. And they're screaming, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He was beating up multiple female police officers. And then they scream, we're victims. He didn't do anything. Yeah. Anyway, that's the same story over and over again, right? Like, we're going to mess with you. We're going to mess with you. We're going to mess with you. We're going to attack. We're going to attack. We're going to attack until you do anything in response. And then it's, we're victims. Look, does everyone see us being oppressed? Strong religion.
Their victim game worked very well. Like it does.
It works.
Yeah, only they needed one day without the full video. And that one day without full video give them lots of platforms. Poor Muslims who cares about assaulted police officers, all that. Anyway, that's it's like, I am not happy with police in Britain, but you kind of see those things and then it just makes you sad. Like some of the police officers simply suffers in the hands of Muslims, and Muslims can simply get out of it. Like that gentleman who was beating the police officer expressed he's got family members in the police, Manchester police. So probably he knows, I won't stay in for a long time. Anyway, so all these things are happening last couple of weeks. And then last week, 29th of July, 3 kids were murdered in South Park. And following day, Prime Minister turned up to put flowers there, and then things kind of start from there. So 3 girls were killed. Something interesting happened in that, like the way I am observing is, there were messages on social media. Police was calling people and then saying they were managing the news. And individual's name is not being published. They said he's only 17 years old. and then lots of information circulated on social media. And up to today, like, we don't have his name, we don't have his picture. So there are certain pictures from his young ages being circulated. Somehow government is not sharing those informations, and people are upset. People turn up the protest, and then the police, which we never had money to kind of come and help, suddenly turn up the area and then kind of attack the man and woman over there. And then since then, almost every day something is happening in England, different parts of the country. People are rioting. Muslims are walking around with machetes. Muslims are saying, if you are armed, leave your arm in mosque. Don't bring it with yourself. All those kind of things. And from this perspective, I am looking as like there is communist government is doing what communists do best, destroying humanity. So our prime minister makes some announcements that they are setting up emergency securities for all mosques. So 3 kids were murdered. Now we are setting up emergency security for all mosques. They are paying approximately 28 million extra money for mosques. They are setting up standing armies. And then what else? They are going to set up facial reconciliation techniques to identify who are those people. Social media is being controlled from now on. It doesn't look like anyone is kind of dealing what is the issue, but what I'm seeing on the kind of media is pretty disturbing.
Yeah. So you said with the facial recognition, that's going to be used to recognize people who are
not Muslims, not
Muslims. So so they use facial recognition software. In other words, if they see you protesting against what's going on, then they're going to plug your images into a computer, which is going to tell them where you are and who you are, so they can show up at your door.
Yeah,
that's good.
And then they, like, I don't know if you are aware of, we've got like Terrorist 2000 Act. They can simply have access to your property. They can go through your phones. Like, it's pretty much abuse of power, but they start kind of practicing that for a while. So while all those things are happening, of course, you earlier mentioned Muslims love to play these victim games.
Mm-hmm.
Share with you what they identified. They put lots of people's life in danger, by the way. And they kind of just think, oh, this is very fun. I don't know if you are able to see my screen. Or are you able to see the picture on the screen? Yeah.
There we go. There's Andrew. It was 2 years ago. The Ummah is saved. We had the avalanche of apostasy, but now the Ummah is saved. Why? Because the most Googled man on the planet in certain months of 2022 has converted to Islam. The Ummah is saved. And now you've got 5 pillars UK, Muslim, I guess, journalist in this case. I mean, Dilly Hussein, we all know who he is. But yeah, Dilly Hussein now calling out Andrew Tate for being, what is that? One of the top 10 online instigators of far-right riots in the UK. Poor Andrew Tate can't win. No matter what he does, he's got people blasting him.
Well, so I'll show you some of the messages. You will see. You might feel even sorry for him. Suddenly, everyone start attacking him, and people are even telling, like, "May Allah guide you now." It seems Allah didn't do a job for 2 years. So this picture was put out where you've got Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, Andrew Tate, Calvin, Lawrence Fox, some of those, Dave. Actually, I'm having Dave tomorrow. So they put these 10 people on their social media and circulating to state those are the ones who are causing or encouraging the riots, while Muslims are the ones who are walking around with machetes, as well as like other groups. It's just like very much messed up, but identifying those 10 people and putting them in danger.
Yeah, I mean that's like this is like a wanted poster almost.
Yeah.
Hey, if you see if you see these guys in the streets, you know what to do. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, very dangerous for them. But so Andrew Tate got a little bit sensitive. So he saw this clip, this picture, and what he does best, he does it, and then he replied to it. Let me put that up as well. I need to take this down.
Yeah, Andrew's not going to want to lose the support of the Ummah here.
So the remember message was saying he's the top 10 people who are encouraging these far right riots.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, I am Muslim. I mean, like
I can do no wrong. I'll go ahead and read it for you. I'm literally a Muslim. I believe that the UK should have a strict border and not allow undocumented migrants from Christian Africa or Islamic nations. UAE has a strict border, as does Qatar. All first world Muslim nations do. I do not condone violence. You are an idiot. Oh, just called Dilly Hussein an idiot?
Yep.
Uh-oh. Dilly's a narcissist. He's not going to be able to take that. These are the funniest situations when you have two narcissists start arguing because they can't handle criticism. So it's funny.
So after 2 years, everyone decided they are going to call Andrew Tate out. And Andrew Tate...
Hang on, one second. I have to point out, he has on multiple occasions over the past 2 years called himself Lord, Savior, God, all these things. And every time you'll get a couple Muslims saying, hey, should you really be calling yourself God? And then everyone will go, come on, he's a new Muslim. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't know that he shouldn't be calling himself God. And then, hey, Andrew, why are you posting all these pictures of yourself with these girls in bikinis and so on? Oh, he doesn't know any better. He's a new Muslim. And so calling himself God, yeah, they'll let him slide on that one. But now he's in trouble. Now he's in trouble for having a problem with the borders there in the UK.
Yeah. Also, he's in trouble for praising. Like, did you see the short clip where he's praising Lord Jesus Christ? Praise the Lord Jesus. Let me put that down first.
I have to say, I am shocked, though, that this whole Andrew Tate conversion didn't go the way they thought it would.
It went for 2 years, but now...
I mean, what's next? Sneeko? Is that going to end badly, too? I don't know. I mean, you think, hey, here's a popular guy on social media, a guy who just craves attention, announcing himself as the new hero of Islam. What could go wrong? And they all say, nothing could go wrong. I'm thinking, oh, some things are going to go wrong here.
And no one called him out for being half naked. Everyone is okay with that. Now people are not okay with him saying Tommy Robinson is correct, as well as saying border needs to be controlled. Listen to this one.
Nothing more inspirational than saddling up with your boys in a bunch of supercars and taking time out your day to go and praise the Lord Jesus Christ. It doesn't get better than that, does it, Bailey? It does.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard him call him the Lord Jesus Christ. That's good.
Praise the Lord Jesus Christ, and then people got offended by it.
Go, Tristan, go! You're making a difference on your brother, Tristan. Yay, Tristan! He's making a difference. Oh boy.
Yeah. So he's got he's identified as far right, simply talking for the controlled borders and talking about the riots, and then he got attention for saying praise the Lord Jesus Christ, and then he put this 5 minutes video up, which kind of caused attention as well. let me put this up. I don't know if sound is gonna work or not, because I tried to put it up normal video. It gave me copyright, so I did screenshot. It might not work. If it doesn't work, we can just go through the scripts which they put it up.
Muslims are trying to give me a hard time online, as if they are perfect people. I'm sure they're not
sounds bad.
and drinking alcohol. They're perfect, exactly.
Audio is very bad.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm not playing this. He's talking about how Muslims are giving him difficult time, thinking that all those Muslims are correct. He just simply talks about how borders needs to be controlled. It's altogether 5 minutes video. He's just fed up with all Muslims are messaging him.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the Muslim who is messaging him, of course, the one who cannot turn blind eye to him anymore.
I'm guessing Mohammad Hijab, Ali Dawa. Who are we dealing with here?
The part-time stripper.
Oh, we know who that one is. That is funny. So everyone understand the situation, right? Again, you have Andrew. So Andrew Tate converts a couple years ago, and that was he converted right in the special phase where they're panicking over the avalanche of apostasy, and it's like the Ummah is drowning, and they're looking for anything to cling to, like a life raft, and they get this idea: if we can just get some popular social media influencers on our side, that will save the Ummah. And so they latched on to Andrew Tate, and Mohammad Hijab is one of the people who instantly latched onto him and instantly started making videos with him and so on. And I have no idea how that's going, but I'll find out right now from this message.
Everyone was like dying to make videos with him. Everyone was like publicly putting tweets up to say like, okay, we cannot judge him now. He's new Muslim. Give him time. Give him time. Give him time. And I think time is up now. 2 years later, because he simply supported far right. So, Mohammad Hijab. Dear brother Andrew Tate, I have always supported you.
I've always supported you.
Always.
Me strong, you strong, we strong, me support you, you strong. And I take my shirt off. I took my shirt off for you, like you. I wanted to be like you.
But now you are missing the marks in a couple of points, and then he puts the points together. Your acquaintances with the far-right figures like Tommy Robinson is haram, as he's the enemy of Islam. Your lack of condemnation of the far-right tongues and who attack the mosques and who attack the Muslims and Islam more generally. Simply, well, I don't care about you were with the bikinis on the videos. I don't care about you are still smoking. I don't care about all the non-Muslim things you are doing. But now I need to bring your attention to Quran. Why? Because simply you are associating with the enemy of Islam.
Mm-hmm. And right. I mean, you have to find this really interesting. I mean, the thing they flip out on him for is saying countries shouldn't just let an endless array of people just showing up in boats in their country. And Tate pointed out, it's like, wait a minute, Muslim countries are like that. Muslim countries don't just take everyone in. Why should the UK, when, I mean, the Muslims here are making it obvious they want unrestricted immigration to take over the place, right? That's what they're, hey, this is part of our plan for ultimately taking over the country. And Andrew Tate, you're criticizing it. And so that's their objection. We're trying to take over the UK because we can't make Islam work anywhere else. And so we need it to work here. And so we need more Muslims to speed up the process. And Andrew Tate's against it.
He's against it in a sense, like, don't come with the boat, get your passport, get your visa, through airport. That's all he's saying. And I think that's how it needs to be. You come to airport. If you got a problem at airport, you have to deal with it. But you need to come to that stage. Like, you can apply for visa, get your passport, reject it. You come illegally, and people don't even know who you are.
Yeah, that's and that's the perspective of lots of people. Lots of people don't have a problem with the idea of immigration. It's like when people show up in a boat, you have no clue who they are, what they've done. You don't know if they just came out of a prison, a mental. You don't know. You have no idea, and so they haven't been vetted at all. And that's the objection that lots of people have. And that's apparently Tate's perspective, and it's too much. It's too much for Mohammad Hijab. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you not want open borders? Which is, by the way, is amazing, because what these same guys accuse Israel of doing is moving into a land until they took it over. That's what Israel is accused of. You moved a bunch of Jews in there and then took over the land. It's exactly what Islam has been doing for centuries, and it's exactly what they're trying to do in multiple nations right now. And so I don't know. It's just weird that what they mean is, it's good when we do it and bad if anyone else does it. So
I guess, like, I don't know if you picked up a couple of years ago, it was on the news. Someone again came by boat and introduced his age as being under 18, and then he was put with the kids in the same hotel or same house, and then it turned up he was like ISIS member and older than 18. And it took like months for someone to kind of figure that out and then inform the Home Office. So I guess Mohammad Hijab is very much where if people come with proper paperwork, then there is a possibility, of course, government is going to ignore, but there are people who will kind of notice, oh, we've got dangerous people who entered in the country, but so he doesn't want that to be public. Probably he wants people to come with the boats so that they can just like build their home. And I don't know if they come with the passport, I don't know if they get like all that benefits. I think when they come with the boat, they get more benefits.
Must be nice.
Attractive.
Man, hey, this British government got me wanting to show up on a boat. I want to show up on a boat over there. Just put me in a free place and give me everything.
Yeah, and then human traffickers from France to England, it's only $3,000, and you can get like much cheaper. You can even like get free, simply kind of jump into the truck or something. Anyway, so Mohammad Hijab continues after he kind of brought Andrew Tate's attention to Quran, what Islam teaches about their enemies, all that. Having said that, your anti-immigration political view, despite me considering to be off the cue and wrong, are not blasphemies. But, to my knowledge, please understand though, they detriment the Muslim community, and anything that detriments the Muslim community is bad. I wonder why. Many far-right hooligans want peace with us. They want no peace with us. They consider us to be impossible subject. Our existence frustrates them. They are one of us. You are one of us. They will never accept you fully until you embrace their beliefs. Okay, let me read this again. So because I'm just like, he's talking about Islam, yet he's blaming far-right right now. Mm-hmm. Many far-right hooligans want no peace with us. He meant to say, as a Muslim, we want no peace with anyone until they become Muslim. They consider us to be an impossible subject. Muslims are just impossible because Islam is impossible. Our existence frustrates them. Wonder why? You are one of us.
One of us.
I was just thinking that your video.
One of us. One of us.
They stole that from your video.
Yeah, he did. Now we know Mohammad Hijab is watching.
They will never.
Surprised he didn't put that. Come on, brother. You are one of. Oh no, that's my Tate voice. You're one of us. One of us. gooba gobble, what a buzz.
They will never accept you fully until you embrace their belief. So that's Muslims never accept you as friends or anything until you become Muslim and start like doing what the Sahabais wants you to do. So that's like kind of what Islam, but he kind of puts that as many far right hooligans.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying with the situation with them in Israel. They'll say, here's what Israel did, and we condemn it because it would be wrong and immoral to keep moving into an area until you take over the area, when it's what they've been doing for 14 centuries, when they can't just like take it over with the military instantly. You just keep moving into an area until you take it over. It's what they're doing in a bunch of countries in Europe. And they'll say it's great when they do it. If anyone else were to even be accused of doing it, it would be horrible and evil. But right here, it's, oh, you want to know how evil these far right people are? They have a problem. They have a problem with us because of our beliefs. Isn't that insane? Isn't that crazy? Having a problem with us because of what we believe? It's like, that's exactly what you have a problem with the entire world because of what they believe. It's, I mean, we've said it a trillion times. There's no concept of consistency in Islam. There's no do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a principle of moral consistency. Avoid being a hypocrite. Take the log out of your own eye before worrying about the speck in your brother's eye. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be pointing a finger at everyone else when you've got your own issues and you're doing the same things. And what do we find over and over again? Every single thing that someone like Mohammad Hijab is pointing his finger at, Dilly Hussein, all these guys, look at what everyone is doing. Look at what these British far right are doing. Look what the Jews are doing. That's the stuff that only we're supposed to be doing. We're the only ones who are supposed to be doing that. And other people are doing that. It's not fair. Everyone is supposed to sit back, keep their mouths shut as we take over the world. And they're not. We can't take it. It's I don't know. It's just insane.
If you think about it, like he's got approximate, when I kind of take the screenshot of this, there is approximate 400,000 people viewed this message. And in their mind, because like somehow Muslim mind is like just so victim mind. In my mind, like, yeah, as a Muslim, we do this. We don't even need to bring any attention or just talk about it. But if someone else does it, then we need to start crying. Then we need to start rioting. Then we need to start taking lives. It's just like so, I don't know, bad, like really, really bad. Anyway, at the end, he invites Andrew Tate to Islam. We worship Allah alone and build our purpose on this. None can complete with this. I urge you to endorse this message and salvage this situation. What do you think happened after that?
It's an interesting situation where I don't think they don't really want to blast each other because it's they need each other. It's mutual manipulation. Tate needs the Ummah defending him because he's got all his court cases and stuff, and he needs a group of followers who are going to mindlessly agree with him no matter what. And the Dawa guys want access to his fans, and they want to be able to say, look, here's a guy who's popular on social media and he converted to Islam. So yeah, I don't think they actually want to destroy each other.
Because they need one another's
yeah so they want to iron it out and get Tate. Just go back to calling yourself God and having girls in bikinis all over your videos, and just don't side against open borders when boatloads of Muslims show up. Just don't be against that. Call yourself God all you want. Have all the girls shaking their whatevers in the camera. Do that. All the porn you want, doesn't matter. We don't care. Just do not interfere with our takeover of the UK. You need to help us, not hinder us.
Although it should concern some Muslims that why Mohammad Hijab wants to get access to Andrew Tate's views, since there will be a big part of certain group will be watching those naked women. Why would Mohammad Hijab wants to get those views? Should bring some question to Muslims.
Yeah, especially when Andrew Tate, it's like he's giving Muslims a glimpse of what Jannah is going to be like, right? So it's a guy sitting around surrounded by girls who are doing whatever he says. So I mean, this is what you have to look forward to, guys. Except the girls will be a little younger.
This is the shadow of Jannah. So Andrew Tate wanted to respond, and he responded, "I understand you. Mohammad Hijab, I feel the pain you have," he says. That's how I'm interpreting that. I understand you. I understand the frustration of white man because he is losing his country right before his eyes. I try to be fair in my worldview.
That's the problem. Imagine Tate is the voice of moral common sense in a discussion, right? Anytime Tate sounds like the sane one in a conversation, that's some weird stuff. He sounds like the morally good one here, the morally consistent one, the one who's not an insane hypocrite. That's wild.
Actually, if you didn't know anything about like his background and what he does, and then you just kind of read the first tweet regarding like that short video, 5 minutes video, it might make you think, yeah, this looks decent guy. But
wow, what a good guy. This guy's my hero. Yeah, if I just got on the social media for the first time today, I'd be like, who is this voice of reason in on Twitter there?
So he's reasoning with the voice of reason, with forgetting that Allah doesn't like reasoning. I try to be fair in my worldview. It disgusts me seeing Gaza being conquered by Israel. So I understand how the native Englishman feels. As Muslim, do we not understand his point of view?
No, you don't. That's the problem. Tate, that is why they're flipping out on you. You are not seeing things from a straightforward Islamic supremacist perspective where we get to treat everyone in the entire world like garbage and everyone has to treat us with the utmost respect in return, right? That's the way things are supposed to be. And you're saying, why don't we try to see things from other people's perspective, and why don't we be consistent and not hypocrites? And that's haram. That entire perspective is haram.
Yeah, so that's why people are asking him to worship Allah alone, because it's not only he stops there. He says, can we not show compassion and kindness and understanding?
Nope. What's the Quran say? Merciful among themselves. Severe against disbelievers, merciful among themselves. Here's Andrew Tate saying, no, let's all get along and be compassionate towards other people. No, not how it works.
Let's try to understand their viewpoint. Let's try to show understanding and then kindness and then try to solve the problem. But no, apparently no, not in Islamic way. We should be standing in solidarity with the natives and helping them point their anger in right direction. A government which has forgotten them. Open dialogue is the answer, not violence.
Wow. I still can't get over the fact that Tate sounds like the
reasonable.
Yeah, the reasonable one when he's in a discussion with the Dawa clowns.
Yeah. That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, and but yeah, this isn't going to work. They're not going for this. I mean, think about this. It's Tate saying they should direct their anger. We should help the natives direct their anger in the right direction, which is a government which has forgotten them.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's exactly what the Dawa guys want. They want a government that is only defending Muslims and is throwing everyone else under the bus. That's exactly what they want. So Mohammad Hijab is reading this as I don't understand Islam. I don't understand Islam, or I don't care enough about Islam because I'm totally on the wrong page right here. So even though anyone else in the world would be reading this going, well, this guy's making way more sense than Hijab, from the Islamic perspective, this guy is Tate's a complete lunatic. He does not understand Islam at all.
It's that though. Like, just like 2 years, someone who converted Islam within 2 years, with not following Islam in a way Muslim missionaries wants, is more reasonable than Muslim missionaries who are just like selling their souls and shirts and bodies, all that, to make money. Just like 2 years convert is more reasonable than them.
Mm-hmm.
But that convert is not Islamic. That's different though.
Yeah. So Andrew Tate is he's clearly a narcissist. I think that if he were evaluated, and his dad was a diagnosed narcissist, that's why he got kicked out of whatever government role he had. He had narcissistic personality disorder, and you see the same thing with Andrew Tate. So, guy has an actual personality disorder where the entire world revolves around him, and it massively affects your ability to reason correctly about ethics. And yet that guy, a guy who has a personality disorder that keeps him from understanding things from other people's perspective, is the one is the voice of reason here, who's saying, hey, we need to understand things from other people's perspective. And then the ummah is going, what are you talking about? This guy sounds crazy. He sounds crazy. What are you talking about? Everything. Which part of until religion is all for Allah did you not understand? You're not supposed to care about anyone else. Everyone else is. Which part of they are the worst of creatures did you not understand? Those people that Andrew Tate is defending, they are, according to Islam, the worst of creatures. They're lower than dogs. They're lower than pigs. How should the government treat them? The government should treat them like complete, utter, total garbage. And that's the way the government is treating them. And Tate, you're saying that the government needs to actually change and respect the citizens that they're sworn to protect? That's insane. It's ridiculous. It's completely un-Islamic. It's haram. Shame on you. Better be careful. They can come after him as an apostate with all this being compassionate stuff that he's talking about.
Yeah. So he suddenly got like, everyone wanted to keep him accountable.
Whoa, look at that.
Everyone wanted to keep him accountable, but suddenly everyone decided, yeah, they are going to keep him accountable. So, and Mohammad Hijab, another like narcissist, wanted to reply to him. As a Muslim, I have no moral duty to please white Britons. If I am honest, I don't care too much if a minority of them feel agitated of our existence in the UK.
Pause it. Think, is that he always has to frame it as people just have a problem with Muslims existing or something like that. As far as I can tell, the issues are things like the grooming gangs, where you've got all these Pakistani Muslims who think that they can rape, gang rape, pimp, drug young British girls. And then what happens when it gets pointed out that this is what's going on? The government tries to cover it up, and they refuse to do anything because they don't want to be called Islamophobes. So they let this go on for years until thousands and tens of thousands of young British girls are abused in this way. And so that finally hits the people of Britain. Wait a minute, you've got this group and they're doing some really, really evil stuff, and the government protects them. The government protects them from criticism. So the government cares more about their feelings and about not accusing them of something. The government cares more about that than they do about little girls who are being gang raped by these guys. They care more. And so you're looking at that going, why is this group propped up that is so far beyond us, that their feelings have become an absolute idol for our government, so much so that we will literally sacrifice our daughters to appease them. So it's that situation, and then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what else happens as far as jihadis attacking police officers, attacking people, marching through the streets with machetes. The government's always on the side of the jihadis and the Dawa guys. And the British people are looking at this going, we have a problem with one group coming in and them suddenly instantly being superior to us, according to our own government. They're saying that's a problem. How does hijab describe that issue? Well, they're agitated at our existence. Well, they're agitated that you guys are raping a bunch of little girls. That's what they're at, and they're agitated that the government will not intervene unless they get shamed into doing so. Other than that, they would cover it up. They would just cover it up. That's what's agitating them, hijab. And so what's agitating them is the teachings of Islam, that Muslims are superior to non-Muslims, and you guys act like that. You guys act like you're superior, even though you're doing some of the sickest, most evil stuff, because that's what happens when you say, hey, let's build our morality and way of life around a 7th century Arabian caravan robber who was also a rapist and a pedophile. And then you see the results of taking him as your moral example, and they say, whoa, we don't like this. We don't like that this is given a privileged status and that police bend over backwards to appease this and throw us under the bus and come and arrest us when we complain about it. We don't like the way this is going, and we can't let this continue. And then how does this get described? They just have a problem with our existence because they're the evil ones, not the guys who want to go around banging little girls.
I just also want to remind people, as David Wood is saying those things, yes, British government intentionally turned blind eye to what happened to those kids. And it was reported in their report that only reason police turned blind eye and government turned blind eye because they didn't want to be called Islamophobe. That was the only reason. They didn't want to be called Islamophobe. Therefore, they sacrificed those girls for Muslim men to rape and then sell and then rape and then sell more, rape more, sell more. It's just...
And people don't realize how sick and evil this was, because this is back when I was blogging. And people could still go and find it on my old Answering Muslims blog. But one of the posts was an article about how a girl's father, so a girl who's like 12, and she's one of the girls being pimped out by these guys after they groom her and so on. He actually follows her to one of their houses and so on, finds out because she'd been talking about what they're doing to her and stuff. He shows up, calls the police come and arrest him for being a racist.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that's what the people of Great Britain are realizing, and they're thinking, wait a minute, if this is the situation when these guys are this tiny percentage of the population where these guys can literally come and gang rape my daughter and police will arrest me for complaining, that's kind of a picture of what's going on in all of Great Britain right now. One group can do whatever they want, and if we so much as object, hey, don't rape these girls, if we so much as raise a criticism, police show up to destroy us and destroy our lives. And they're looking at that going, if that's what it's like when these guys are this tiny minority of the population, what's it like when they're 30 or 40%? They will literally be able to do anything. They will be able to walk into a room, gang rape my wife and daughter, and police will execute me by that time or something like that for so much as objecting. How dare you? Shut up, know your role. They get to do whatever they want. They're superior to you. And it's like, what? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting up with this? And anyway, but that makes you the bad guy because apparently you're an Islamophobe if you don't want your daughter being gang raped by Pakistani dudes.
It's not only for daughter. It's like, nah, you can't even go and report proper raped, so that you are not called Islamophobe or you are not being threatened stuff. It's just pretty much out of control. But yes. Islam is causing stress to us, and Mohammad Hijab is expressing, I don't care. I don't care too much if a minority of them feel agitated of our existence in UK. Ethnic Brits are not prostitutes, only to be used when the UK needs to be reconstructed. A key reason for the wave of initial immigration, then disbanded thereafter. The compassion with Gaza is behind problematic. The English Defense League itself was registered as the English and Israeli Defense League. You are better than to say nothing of violence against our mosques in Southport. You are better. It's just like, so they are just waiting, okay, for someone to just do something to a building, to mosque, and then so that they can run all media. Oh, our mosques are being attacked, so that government can give almost 30 million to them, as well as provide full-time protection to them. Why? Because one of the mosques is being attacked. It's not like, I'm not even discussing like, should it be or not, because it is wrong at the first place. But also I heard the clips where Muslims were saying, leave your arms in the mosques. I've been to mosques and I have seen what people are teaching in mosques, what is happening to the girls in mosque. But apparently there is a violence against our mosques. There was actually one mosque over there, but you are better than to say nothing against the racism failure, whites attacking Islam and Muslims.
Yeah, so wait, so Hijab isn't complaining about the Muslims running around attacking other people?
No.
No, of course not. It's completely acceptable. That's the way it should be. It's strong Muslims controlling and attacking everyone else, and everyone else accepting it, willingly, being good dhimmis. That's what the world is supposed to be like. And yeah, let's face it, they love it when someone attacks Muslims or something like that, or attacks a mosque, and that's how it works. And we saw this in the U.S. So you'd have after 9/11, so thousands of people killed in the name of Allah, and then someone. Because I mean, if you've got hundreds of millions of people in a country, you're going to have some people who cross some lines. But the story would be something like a woman standing behind a racist woman standing behind a Muslim woman in a hijab in a supermarket, tugged on the back of her hijab, and this would be this huge story about how Muslims are being persecuted. But then that story would be everywhere, and that would be, you see, this is why we need more protection. This is why Muslims need more protection. This is why journalists need to only speak favorably about Muslims, because if you don't, look what happens. And this is why governments should never report. I mean, this is why politicians and journalists should never talk about all these terrorist attacks and mention anything to do with Islam, because look what it leads to. And so anytime there's any sort of response to a Muslim where someone crosses a line, that becomes they weaponize it. That's their new weapon to silence criticism. And so, and the result of that after years is the grooming gangs. So in other words, this was happening in the past. Hey, if you criticize anything that any Muslim is doing, doesn't matter. It could be an act of terror. It could be gang rape, anything. If you criticize something, then this is going to lead to a backlash against the Muslim community. And so basically, by reporting on this stuff, by mentioning that it happened, by acknowledging that it happened, you're calling for genocide against Muslims. Is that what you want to do, tolerant Westerners? And they go, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, well, just shut up then and look the other way when we're gang raping these little girls. You got to keep your mouth shut. And so when someone actually does something to a mosque, or I saw a video where they pushed over like a dawah stall or stand or something like that. It's, you see government, you see politicians, you see journalists. If you don't support us and go after these guys and arrest all these guys, and if you criticize anything any Muslim does, you're basically supporting the attacks on our mosques. You don't want to be like that, do you? They go, no, we don't want to be like that. Okay, go arrest all those guys and look the other way when we're marching through the streets with machetes. And they go, and the government goes, okay, well, okay, we don't want to be called names.
Yeah, and then when you watch those clips, you get to see how police is helping Muslims who are like going to these riots. Even there is like a clip from Sky News where reporter is reporting what is happening in the area. You can see like Muslims are coming with their machetes, and then she already put helmet on her head as she's reporting, but she doesn't even bother to mention that they've got machetes and knives. She just like, oh yeah, it seems they're a bit upset. And I wouldn't be surprised from now on if I see, oh yeah, another hijab is taking down. Oh, another hijabi, or another hijab is taking down. It's just like so upsetting. Poor Muslims, they're successful victim players. Just makes me angry. Anyway, Mohammad Hijab finishes with hope. I
Good.
hope.
Always good to finish with a ray of hope. And
And
that's what Mohammad Hijab is. He's a big, giant, 6'8", 300-pound ray of hope in this dark world.
And he's like Andrew Tate have the same attitude towards the radical feminism, as well as towards the enemy of Islam. So he can defend the abuse of women as much as he defends the right of Islam, the right of Muslims.
Yeah, isn't it fun? Like Tate against radical feminists. What is that? It's girls have to be our porn girls. That's what we do. We turn, yeah. I wish you'd be as staunch and fearless against the Islamophobes as you are against women. Yeah, just take these Britons and turn them into your cam girls.
I guess that's why Mohammad Hijab is looking for his audience, I guess, trying to steal Andrew Tate's audience. So, anyway, there are a couple of other things, but it's 9 o'clock almost. It's 4 o'clock over there for you, and you've got appointments. So I'm gonna let you go. It's very much messed up in England. Police's attitude towards people who are protesting or who are rioting is very different from one group to other group. But overall, there are human beings who are suffering and who lost their children, and still their kids are, some of the children are in hospital. Our government already forgot about those kids, forgot about those families, and now their focus is hunting down the kind of anyone who hurts the feeling of Islam. Do you see any hope for us?
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, this is the problem. This is the problem, that you have a bunch of people, and AP and I were just talking about this, but like in the United States, it's normally thought, hey, if I'm having a problem, if someone is doing something or is attacking my daughter and I find out about it, I can call the police, and the police will go and arrest that person who's abusing my daughter. If 5 guys are gang raping a 12-year-old girl, those 5 guys are going to get locked up and they're going to go to prison. So anyway, if it's thought here in the US, hey, if there's a problem, there's a system in place that can help you with that problem. So you don't have to run out guns blazing or anything. You don't have to do that because you can actually call the police. If something is, if there's a big problem, you can alert the media. Hopefully the media will report on the problem. You can contact politicians and so on. You can contact people. In other words, there's a system in place that's there to deal with problems, When that whole system actually helps make the problems worse and attacks you for addressing the problems, then all of a sudden it's a completely different feeling. And I had this in Dearborn when instead of police arresting other people for doing something, they arrest us and they lie about us. So that's a pretty horrifying idea, that if you could be sitting there having a conversation, and if Muslims in the area don't like you talking to Muslims, they call the police, and the police come and enforce the Islamic view, Sharia. You can't talk to people about the gospel on a public street. You should be arrested. In an Islamic mind, you should be arrested for that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. And so you have, in the United States of America, the local population influences the police to where the police actually carry out and enforce Sharia for people. And so that's a completely different feeling. Like, wait a minute, if I have a problem, I can't call police because police will come and attack me. That's what they will do. They will come and arrest me. And so fortunately here in the US, even though you had that situation, it's still, we're not far gone. We're not so far gone, because if the police aren't doing their job, you can actually go and bring this up in court. You can sue them. You can sue the police and so on, which is what we did, and we won. But what happens in the UK, where it's every single level of government now, right? The police, it's the government. There's nowhere you can turn. There's nowhere you can turn to say, hey, look what they're doing to little girls over here. Look at what they're doing. They guys are walking around with machetes, just jumping on us and beating us, hacking us. What's going on here? And police condemn you and will arrest you. That's a very dangerous situation, because again, after centuries of people it has a kind of calming influence on them, that I don't have to go out and have a violent reaction to everything, because we have a functioning system where if someone is doing something that's horribly wrong, I contact police. I don't have to go out and start swinging or grab a weapon or something like that. I don't have to do that. Now, if you have a population that loses confidence in their government, in the police, in journalists, you're going to have people deciding they can't depend on anyone else. They have to just depend on themselves. And the problem there is you're going to get a variety of different reactions. You're going to get a bunch of people who go out and peacefully protest. You're also going to get a bunch of people who start picking up weapons. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's good that people should be picking up weapons and going around attack. I'm saying that's why it is so absolutely dangerous for people to lose confidence in and trust in police and in journalists and so on. It compels them to take matters into their own hands, and that's going to happen very differently for different people. Some people are just going to protest. Other people are gonna look for a bloody riot. And that's why you don't want the system to break down. You don't want to go back to wherever it's every man for himself. It's basically a state of nature. Everyone attacking each other because you have no system in place to keep order. You don't want that. But it's what they're doing in the UK. And what it looks like what's going to happen is you're going to have people reacting because they don't trust the government, and the government's going to come and crush them. The government's going to come and crush them, arrest them, lock them up, and so on, instead of actually dealing with the problem. And so it seems like it's going to get worse. It seems like it's a really, really bad situation. And I have to say, it's just what Islam does. It's just what Islam does. You inject Islam into a situation, it's inevitable that Islam starts destroying the entire system from within. Because the goal in Islam ultimately down the road is to give everyone the choice between complete chaos or Sharia. That's it. They want the choice to be between Islam and chaos, because if you give the choice between Islam and anything else, people will choose anything else. People will choose anything else over Islam, unless it's complete chaos where you have no semblance of anything, of any kind of order in your life, and it's every man for himself. Then you'll say, okay, at least Sharia gives us some degree of order. And so people actually do, and that's why you see like a group like ISIS comes to an area. We will blow everything to the ground until you submit. They want it. They want you to have no stability. They want you to be psychologically destroyed to the point where I will accept anything other than this chaos. And that's the goal in the UK. Just cause complete destruction and chaos and terror until you say anything would be better than this, even if it's Islam. And so that's the goal. And apparently the government says, yeah, that's a bang up idea. Jolly good show there.
And then they said, oh yeah, let's help you. Do you need money? We give you money. Do you need protection? We give you protection so that you can get away with whatever you want to get away. And then we turn blind eye. Actually, what is the problem? Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good thing is still we have hope in Jesus Christ. We cannot lose our hope, because while David expressed Islam comes and then brings darkness and destruction, Jesus comes to bring hope. So put your hope in Lord Jesus Christ. And David, thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry I was going to let you go 10 minutes ago. It took extra 10 minutes. Good. Sorry for that.
That was me running my mouth for 10 minutes.
Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much everyone who in the chat who joined us. By God's grace, I will see you tomorrow in another live stream where I will have Dave to come and then talk about two-tier policing in Britain. God bless you all. Thank you very much, David, again.
Mm-hmm.